Halle Bailey. She was recognized recently by the city of Los Angeles for speaking up about mental health and postpartum journey. Her postpartum journey. She said, "I want to thank the city of Los Angeles for this incredible honor to be recognized for speaking up about mental health and my own postpartum journey is really humbling. Just a reminder that vulnerability is not weakness. It's the bridge that connects us all." There was a lot of pushback in this case as well because of the details of what she did to DDG during these postpartum stage of when it came to stabbing him, he alleged, when it came to stalking him, breaking into his house, stealing his gun, doing these things in front of the child in LA, recognizing it and taking those things out of it and only recognize her actually speaking up about it, right? Instead of taking the actions into play as well. I want to know how y'all felt about that, because that is an argument as well. Go ahead, Kenya.
Real quick, why, just in the way that you said that, why did you just assume that what he alleged that she did to him was correct and you didn't assume that the other way around?
No, I think when we had these DDG conversations, I said that both of them did things to each other. I think if we're going to take what she said as fact, we take what he says as fact as well. I don't think DDG, he submitted 160 documents. Only an idiot would submit 160 fake documents. And so that's why I would take him at his word for what he said, just like I would for Holly. Go ahead.
Okay. Either which way, I don't have a problem with them talking about her postpartum like journey or whatever she went through. I don't want to tie that to abuse allegations per se, because like postpartum encompasses like so much more. So while all of that was happening with him, she still, was breastfeeding or was lactating or wasn't, or she still had to go through the everyday motions of like, just having a baby. So I think that is obviously like, probably more so like what she's speaking up about, because that is hard. I think women like do that in general. So just because it's her, I don't want to like denigrate it. I don't think that's necessary.
Go ahead, Cortland.
Yeah, I don't want to be seen as a hater. So I'm not gonna bring up her past. But like no, she should have been recognized for her postpartum journey. Now I do think that like of course people are gonna bring up the things she did to DDG and they are gonna make a spectacle of that, but it doesn't, stop the fact that she did go through postpartum and she did, make it a out front thing. She said it, right, and so she came out of it. And now she's back doing movies and her thing. So like, yeah, like clap it up for her. They chose to recognize it, and I think she should be applauded for getting through it. And now she can probably be an advocate and spin that and be an advocate for women who go through postpartum. How she got there doesn't, stop the positive side of it that she can offer.
That's a different tune that you go ahead, Jonay.
All right. I want to have a decent conversation about this because I think there's just some really fair points to be made that I think might sound away, but I want us not to get caught up on that. At what point are we giving recognitions for things that she has not been public about? I don't get it. Why is she getting recognized for her maternal health and postpartum journey when she has not gone on record and talked about it?
Outside of tweets.
Her postpartum journey came to me, from what I'm aware of, tweets and text messages through a court case. So why is she getting recognition for this? I'm not saying that it's not necessary, because we need more awareness of how postpartum is affecting women. But to me, I'm gonna be honest, and y'all please, especially Kenya, please just hear me. This gives participation trophy energy, and I don't get it. I don't understand it, because if this is a real thing and a real acknowledgement we want to give her, can we figure out what it is that we're basing this off of? Because it's like, oh, we overheard that you went through some stuff, so here's a recognition for what?
I think that
Because I think one of the things that she's admitted is she didn't handle her postpartum that well. That was a part of her testimony, is that she had suicidal ideation. She wanted to kill her and the child, and she threatened to kill her baby daddy. So it's like, can we understand where I'm talking about for
So
the average
so
person,
only
right?
honor the lady that didn't have
No, 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 no,
suicidal
no.
ideation.
We're not honoring anybody for things that is hearsay. Follow what I'm saying.
Right, but
That's why
I
I
don't.
said, hear
That's
me first before you
I
jump out the
don't
body, because I know this is
know
sensitive.
because Jonah,
I'm asking a
neither me nor
question.
you. Neither me, no, I'm trying to give you an answer.
Hmm.
Neither me nor you, I don't think, follow Halle that closely, meaning I don't think we follow her on Snapchat or watch her daily Snapchats, right? I don't particularly keep up with her outside of a topic that got super viral and everyone's talking
Right.
about it. I might read what's posted.
Hmm.
Now, I do know that she does have a Snapchat. She does have other social media platforms that she speaks on. And as far as I'm aware, she was more open, and that's why a lot of her fans were riding for her through whatever was going on, because outside of the DDG thing, she did speak about her postpartum
Got
journey
it. Okay.
and
So
motherhood
outside of
and it
DDG,
being hard.
understood. Okay.
Yes.
Where's
So her
that?
mental health and how that came to play, I would have to go and find those posts, but I saw them in passing, like it on her own platforms for the people that follow her. That was just something that she discussed and she talked about, right?
Hmm.
So once he came out to say, yeah, she's been suicidal, yeah, she's been going through this and that, it was kind of like her fans were saying, okay, so what? Because she's kind of already talked about that.
Got it. Okay.
So
So her fan
right.
base is what she's took them along her journey is what you're saying. So, okay. So
Exactly. And I
that's why
think
I
that's
asked
what
it.
the honoring
I
is
said
for.
I'm going to ask it
Yes.
directly because I did want to understand. I'm not trying to make the judgment. I'm just saying off without that information,
Yeah,
it
because
seems
it
as
wouldn't
if
make
to the
sense.
general
Right.
public, it's like, oh, we're basing this, again, this participation trophy from this perspective of you had this experience based on things that are not even fully flushed out.
Jonay, I think what we're getting in the timeline and what Kenya said is not the timeline, right? She spoke about postpartum when he was at Kai's house, and then after that, she didn't speak about that until the court case, DDG's filing.
That's not no, Rashad. Rashad, that's
What?
not true. What
Where is
are
that?
you
That's
talking
why I
about the
said.
public
That's why I
post
said
that she made
find the
in
post.
regards to DDG specifically?
Find the post.
So, I think Audra just said there was something, she talked
Oh my
about
God.
severe postpartum depression
She has
following
talked
birth of
about
son
it.
Halo, which was back in 2024.
And this was outside this was outside of the DDG stuff came out when it came out, Rashad. But what I'm
Hmm.
telling you is that outside of DDG and these allegations amongst them two, her own issues with postpartum was already something that she had spoke about. The girl has a platform where she speaks to her fans daily. Like, and it be
Hmm.
a lot of shit. Of course that's gonna
Yeah,
come up.
yeah.
She's now raising a new baby. She's
She
talking
has
about
spoke
it.
of. I'm not saying that she hasn't. What I'm saying is for the record.
Because no, just
No,
say because of
no,
the
no, 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 no.
DDG
What
thing
I'm
you think
saying
was
is
full of
for
shit,
the
but don't say
recognition,
it.
right? Because Jonah asked a valid question. For the recognition, where, and I would assume that it would be a situation in where it is more known, right, to people that you are speaking out to, about your postpartum depression. Folks would know, right? So it'd be outside of tweets or outside of Snapchats, and where it doesn't go anywhere if you're being recognized by Los Angeles, right? I think the most notable times and when she's spoken out about that is tied to him, right? And so with that being said, one of the times is when he put out all those documents. And then she spoke about it afterwards, and where she said she was getting help. Those are the two most notable times, the Kai Cenat, and then he submitted the documents. And so when we see that, it's like, okay, what are you recognizing? and and why? I think that that's what the pushback was. Now, for me, if she get recognized, whatever. Nah, it's not that deep. But for the people who say, "Hey, man, this doesn't look right," because I don't think a nigga that you stab a joint up, now getting recognized for mental health, right? And that seems like it's a
Oh,
sequence
God.
of events that happened in this case. So the folks that push back, I think that that's not the craziest thing to ask.
Do you think that we should retroactively go back and snatch every award that Diddy got?
This is not the same
It's
thing.
not, and they did it.
That's not the same thing.
Not the same, and they
She's
actually did.
getting recognized for like, okay. So that's what I'm saying,
You
Kenya.
guys are tying to her
No, no,
piece with no on it because
no
as a
one is.
mother, it
See, no,
does
no,
not
no, no,
make
no, no, no.
sense.
See, and that's why, Kenya, you might want to sit this one out because we're not talking to your perspective as a mother. We're asking something general
Okay.
because if it's too sensitive, it's just pushback to the recognition and where the actual stance comes from. I understood your point about, okay, her Snapchat, but when we're talking about when someone gets a level of recognition and honor from the city, it's again, she could be volunteering. She could be a donor. There could be more things and that's fine. I don't think anybody, but again, some of these things, it's okay for us to just have questions and ask without trying to loop this into something like Diddy. Like why does that have to be Diddy? Why did we have to go to Diddy for something like that? It makes no sense.
Because
There's no
Janae was trying to
because,
be very
it's a
no,
thing.
because he gets to be inflammatory and then I don't, and
No,
it's like he
you
over there talking
always
about
inflammatory, girl,
stab the nigga
please.
up, stab the nigga
Girl,
up,
you know.
like he was bleeding out somewhere. Like, all right,
Okay,
bro,
now
So
you
what you're
know
saying
y'all
is
your
you
fucking
think he's
right.
inflammation
stabbing?
goes up, girl,
Y'all just so
please.
full
Hold
of
on, wait,
shit.
Kenya. So
That's
what you're
all
saying
I'm
is
talking about. Thank you, Patience, for posting what Patience posted. Let me put that in the
Yeah, that's
jumbotron.
all
That's a
I'm
lie. That's how
asking.
she was
That's what I'm trying
recognized
to
by
figure
national
out.
publications way before the DDG thing. I knew, and this is from somebody like I barely go on Snapchat, and if I did, it was probably just to use the app for the filters. I'm saying that when I peruse through there,
She was
I
doing
would
a lot
would
of
see
lives and stuff like that.
yes, I would see in passing that that would be something that she's talking about. She's been talking about it, and what I'm saying is, you are specifically tying that to DDG, and what I'm saying is, there's a large population of people outside of the urban community that would not do that because they didn't meet it that way.
Got
go
it.
ahead, Mr. Cummings. He didn't send me all I
You're
was about to say.
so my bad, my bad. I'll be putting my phone down to smoke. So look though, when it comes to the Halle Bailey thing, I think it is mental health, and I think that a lot of people don't want to pinpoint the severity of postpartum depression, right? Because it's severe, right? Like postpartum depression is a bitch. Like, and I'm a man. I just have to acknowledge how fucking to the a woman's core postpartum depression is, right? Now, the thing is that if you acknowledge the severity of it, then you have to actually talk about conversation when it comes to custody and how you gonna go with Halo and how this shit gonna go, right? Because I remember
I think
seeing
we
the
talking
one
about
she
this
ordered.
more of her having it and her speaking out about it, and then now she's being recognized for it by the city of Los Angeles, despite the things that have been alleged that she did while going through postpartum and mental health situations.
See,
How do
but
you
to
feel
me,
about that?
those things that she did, they talk about how she did something severe. She robbed his house. She took his gun, knife, all that shit, blah, blah, blah. But that seems like it fits for postpartum from my perspective, right? Like it fits. Like she got postpartum. She doing wild shit. I think that should be a short conclusion to come to,
Yeah, I don't
right? So
think
I don't
nobody's
understand.
saying that she didn't. I think the
Okay.
pushback is, yes,
Maybe
she
I
did
understand.
have it. I think you have to be crazy to sit up here and say that she didn't.
We know
But
she had
she had
postpartum
it.
for
But
sure.
while having these things, there are situations in where um shit looks sketchy from the objective eye as far as her actions in that relationship before postpartum, right? Because this is mental health and postpartum. So before even the child is conceived, there were actions that look sketchy. During pregnancy, after
And
pregnancy, she's
DDG
done
probably likes
things.
it.
Huh?
You know what I mean? Like I try to be honest on both sides. DDG probably liked the crazy shit. You feel me? Like he say he want to be hood or whatever. Hood niggas love some shit like that because it showed that she actually care. They love when a nonchalant bitch tweet, right?
Yeah,
So
I think that could be said. But the actual actions still don't get erased, right? And so I think that
right,
that's more of the conversation of no matter, do I think that DDG did a lot of shit as well? Yeah, I think the things
absolutely,
that she presented, I'm not going to say that shit is a lie and all DDG shit is true. Like that's not me.
of
But
course
I
not.
do think that there could be a conversation of, hey man, we know you've been through that shit. We know you talked about it, but recognizing it as a positive, right? And at the same time dismissing things that were alleged. I think that is something that's very interesting, right? Because
The double standard. You don't want to say it's a double standard?
no, it is 100%. I think it's very
Okay.
interesting to go through that and see her being recognized, but those things being dismissed.
Well, I agree.
I don't see DDG being recognized by the city for like fatherhood, right? After the things that were alleged, and then not even like alleged, just like his social media image even before, when he just got with her, right? And there was like, oh, DDG, who is this nigga? I don't see him being, touted as, a great father with those things that came out about him. Right. And so to see that, it's like, one, what message does it send to folks, to people, our
Excuse me. I don't see
community?
her posting the jumbotron. She's getting recognized for what specifically?
She's getting recognized for speaking about her mental health and her postpartum journey. Right. And so, I think Patient said that there are articles, she put some articles up here, and where she's spoken out. She's apparently done shit on Snapchat. So she has been very vocal, but it doesn't take away from the actions. I think that that's what folks are saying.
Okay. Well, shit. Well, I agree with that then. Who had pushback on that?
Folks in the comments, definitely did not understand, why it would be recognized, because the things that she did were, shoe on the other foot would be severe, right? The stalking, the stealing of the gun, and doing these things with the child, alleged stabbing,
Postpartum.
like those
Sound like
things.
postpartum.
Yeah, of course. But it is odd to be, all right, cool. Now, let's take this. It seems like a make lemons in the lemonade type situation. And where it seems to be a double standard. I don't see a man being recognized for that if those things were done.
Yeah. I mean, well, it also because of how DDG handled it, right? The nigga went to Streamer University and had a class about making controversy, making a good thing out of controversy, like you just said, lemons out of lemonade. The nigga had a class at fuck Streamer University about it. So he obviously not getting recognized for it. What I can, acknowledge about Halle Bailey is because a lot of women that have postpartum depression don't speak about it. That's one of the big things, like about all depressions, but especially postpartum. They don't speak about it at all. People that aren't intimately, connected to them wouldn't even know, right? So it's good to have an advocate.
Yeah,
It's
much
good
like
to,
sexual assault victims.
yeah, especially men. Men
Mhm.
don't report their sexual assault at all. So
Hey, you woke it up, Joday. You opened the door, man.
yeah,
You opened the
thank you
It's the
for
door,
that.
truth.
man.
It's the truth, though.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But yeah,
This
so
nigga,
it's
Mr.
good.
Cover's
It's
gonna
good to
run
have an
straight
advocate.
through that motherfucker, man.
Hey, I know. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But no, though, now what I think about is the future, right? Now that you've been recognized for speaking about it, are you still gonna do the crazy shit? Because now you've been recognized for the crazy shit you've done under postpartum. This kid is getting older. How long are you gonna say postpartum? Are we gonna see her do some crazy shit later? I don't know. I don't know.
Good question. Go ahead, Red. How you feeling? What's the word?
I was listening
Appreciate
at
you
the
doing that.
bottom. I think it is very disingenuous for us to try to conflict the two, right? So yes, her actions were her actions while dealing with this mental health issue. However, we don't tell people who
Red, we hear
there's
the
a
music in the background, ma'am.
you'll be all right.
No,
But
just a
I can
production.
calm it. But I can calm it. I don't have no problem with that.
Yes, thank you.
Uh, Um I think it's very disingenuous for us to conflate the two because that's not how that goes. She's being recognized for speaking up about postpartum, like Mr. Cummings just finished saying, because postpartum is not something that is talked about, especially in the Black maternal health realm. So she's being recognized for that. That doesn't negate, nor does it. I don't want to say that way. It doesn't negate her actions. It doesn't give credence to her actions. It says, hey, this person was going through this and they're not speaking up. It's just the same as there's a young man who had schizophrenia who he's a doctor actually. He had schizophrenia. He had a lot of bad issues, a lot of things that happened from it. He became an advocate for mental health and he was recognized for it. I think that's two totally different things. We can't conflate the two. So I understand what y'all are saying and I understand the messaging that it might give, but we have to be clear on what she was recognized for she wasn't recognized for her action. She wasn't recognized for all of these things that happened. She's recognized for speaking up and saying, hey, this is what I was going through. Just because you understand something doesn't mean you agree with it. That's all.
So I would like to ask, because and I'm not comparing the two. So for all the smart folks in here, I'm not comparing the two. I'm comparing the mindset to separating your actions from what you've done, right? And so we just talked about Karl Malone, and it seemed like there was a level of pushback to separating what he's done versus who he has became or who he is now, right? And so in this situation, it seems like it is more easily people are easily able to separate Halle Bailey in what she's done um to how she's spoken about it or who she is showing the internet she is now. And that's interesting. Go ahead, Cortland.
I think the difference is she wasn't inherently like an evil person or they're like this evil, daunting asshole of a person before the DDG thing, right? I think she went through a rough patch in her life, right? That she was vocal about, and she came out on the other side. I don't think she's a evil, demented person now, right? I think, you know what I mean? She might have done some things that are not, you know, most tasteful to some people, but like, that's fine.
I don't think
Like, it
the
don't
bar has to
affect,
be you're evil, right? I think
hold on,
there's a
hold
lot
on,
of people who
hold on.
do shit and they're not evil people. I think that's a low bar, and where only if you're evil then we should can feel away.
No, 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 no. If you do something heinous, right? That's different. Karl Malone's situation was heinous. That's a different situation. We cannot put that in the same those what Halle
One
Bailey
would say
did,
stabbing
right?
somebody
Or
is heinous too. One would say that.
she stabbed him and he died. She
That's
stabbed
a
him and like
very
Wait, you said
Bruh,
any
you're
what?
died?
tripping. You
What?
Portland.
like
Cortland, we gotta
tripping.
stop. We gotta
like I said,
stop,
like
Cortland.
he didn't do any she didn't do like heinous things. Like
Stabbing
she was going
somebody,
through some
whether you
shit. She was
die or
depressed.
not, that's a
Hold
very
on.
low bar. If
She
I can't wait to stab you up a couple times. Hell yeah. Pat you up
if
good
she
too.
that's
if she's hey brother,
that's a
we ain't going there.
that's a low
Um
bar, Cortland. Of did he
But
die?
I don't think she did anything necessarily heinous, right? Karl Malone's situation, we cannot put that in the same realm. Like that is
I'm
not,
not
we're not
comparing the
doing that.
situations. I'm saying that your words are evil, heinous, and like I said, you don't have to be evil to do things that are, this is called mistakes. Maybe she made some mistakes, right? But you don't have to be evil to make mistakes. In the bar of, yes, I have stabbed you. That's like, did Meg die when Tori shot her? No, but he's still in jail for 10 years, right? And so to
Wow.
have
Wow,
that
Rashad.
bar of, well, he didn't die
Yeah,
yet,
like we
like that's
went there.
crazy.
That's insane.
No, 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 that's actually a point to what you just did. You just did that. You said, did he die though?
Yeah, so I think that if we
With Tori, if he did it, that's heinous. Like what he did was heinous.
so a gun is one, but a knife is not. That's what you're saying. We're gonna make the
I'm
differentiation
glad
between
Haley put
weapons.
the gun down and picked the knife up. I'm glad she did that. I'm glad she put the gun down and picked the knife. I'm so glad.
No, but answer the question, Cortland. So using a gun is heinous, but using a knife is not.
But you're keying in on one thing. Like she stabbed him, but like what?
Don't
Like
dodge it, bruh.
that's just one thing, bro. Like they
What do
didn't
you
put her in
mean
jail
just
for
one
assault.
thing?
If you
Like
had
they
a
didn't put her in jail
son
for
and a
assault or
woman
nothing
Cause,
like
cause,
that. He
cause
stabbed
didn't
he,
go
you,
cause
report it.
they didn't know what happened. It's the same thing. Okay, hold on a second. Cause this is where, okay, I want us to put the postpartum to the side, right? Cause I'm sorry, Rashad, I know this might be a little off, but I gotta say it. Postpartum to the side. For anybody that's gonna retort anything I'm saying, please. I'm not talking about her postpartum and her experience and how that impacted her mentally. This girl was talking about killing DDG and doing all this I'm gonna kill myself shit before the baby, before pregnancy. So what are you talking about, Cortland? There was a tumultuous
The,
nature of their relationship that if she were Shakari, we would be saying the same exact things. And now you're saying it's not that bad.
I don't know about you, but I
no,
don't want to be stabbed.
I think the
No, no,
postpartum
no, no, no. I'm
amplified her
asking you to leave.
already.
No, no, no. Leave postpartum alone because she has text messages before she was even pregnant talking like this. That's what I'm asking. I don't want us defending postpartum because it don't need no defense. It's a real thing. But what
I
we
will
do
say
is
that
when we're
as
trying to
somebody
make a
has,
point, if we're trying to make the point, we want to loop that back in and then try to minimize what's being said because it is a genuine pushback. Please, y'all. Because
I
then
will
it's going
say
to be
this, and you're
recorded and
not
somebody's trying to
wrong.
say something else.
I don't think you're wrong, but I think it's also important to recognize that people who deal with super severe, extensive severe postpartum typically has some type of mental health prior to.
I
It's
understand,
not
Red, but can we
always.
not
It's
do
not.
that, please?
It's not. No, I'm just saying it's not
No,
always.
she's
So,
crediting your
so
point.
what I'm. Yeah,
Okay, okay, because I don't
I'm
want you to, I
agreeing.
don't want no one to
Yeah,
get
no, I'm not.
misconstrued.
I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not. I know. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying to your point, there was something else that was happening prior to the postpartum. So if there was something else happening, what I'm hearing everybody say is that what are we championing this part? We're not talking about the postpartum part. We're talking about this part prior to that. Are we championing that? What is the perception? That's what I heard Rashad say. That's what I heard you say. What is
Right.
the perception? What is the
So
messaging
the
that we're
current
sending that these behaviors prior to postpartum happen?
are
And what
now
does that
looped
look
into
like?
something else, which does not mean that
Right.
she's okay. So for me, right,
Right.
because she's recognizing her postpartum, it's not saying that she's recognizing, okay, hey, I had a really rough time. I've been dealing with this for a very long time. I'm a mental health advocate because I recognize I showed up this way in my relationships. I mean, if y'all can point me to those videos, I would like to see them. But I don't think that's what we're saying. What's being talked about is the experience. And thank you, Red, for clarifying, because I do agree and I know 100% what you're saying is valid and accurate. There were underlying issues before. And she also acted and talked about and leaned into those things. I just think outside of the child, outside of the hormonal, because that is a beast, right? I don't know the point of your perspective, Cortland, of if there was something before Halo, before pregnancy, before hormones that she showed some mental health imbalances where she was doing things like threatening and self-harm and all those other things. What what are we saying? We're saying it's so what he didn't die? But she threatened to do those things, no?
And one would say, you came to my house and took my gun and texting me that you about to harm yourself while with my child. I think
I got multiple. You getting
the
blicked up in my
bar
house.
the bar of nobody's dead, so let's brush it under the table so that we can celebrate. I think that's a low bar, man. Not gonna lie. That is a low bar. Did he die? Listen, that is definitely the name of the space. That's crazy. Especially when, raising a son, and I'm a man, right? I don't want to be stabbed. Die or not. And I don't want to have that as the level of harm being done to my child. Well, you didn't die, so it's all right, right? And it seems like that is the messaging when it
I
comes to
can't believe
this.
he said that.
But that's also y'all.
Rashad,
But I
I
also
honestly
kind of
couldn't
feel
believe
like
he
we
said
are,
that.
because we're
He
drawing a
stabbed her, but
Hold
parallel
on,
did
wait,
he
Mr.
die?
between
Cummins. Go ahead, Cortland.
we're drawing a parallel between Karl Malone's situation
No,
and
we're
her
not.
situation.
That's
Like
why I
that,
keep.
we can't do
Completely
that.
different
We're
topic.
not. What I'm saying is
No, it's not. He asked a question.
no,
You don't
what I'm
listen.
saying, Cortland, is the understanding of we are able, whether it's Karl Malone or not, we've seen many times in where we can, or we try to, uh, celebrate what a person did and who they are. Right. And so there's a lot of situations in where with some people, we are not able to separate it. And some people, we are able to separate it depending on who we like. That is the
Robert,
parallel, whether it's Karl Malone or
how
not.
was school?
Right? You can bring up anybody
You
that you want
like
to bring up.
welding?
So that's what I'm talking
Don't
about.
get burned on the slag.
Hold on,
Mr. Cummings.
hold on, Mr. Cummings.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead, Cortland.
So like because I'm unbiased in both of these situations. Like I don't like or
I like
I'm a
your
fan
outfit,
of
by the
either
way.
one. What the
You're
fuck is
welcome. You
happening?
matched the hat well.
Go ahead, Cortland.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of either one of them. So like I have no biases in these arguments, right? I can't I can't look at Karl Malone and be like, you're not a shit person. I can't look at Karl Malone and be like, well, we should celebrate your Hall of Fame and great career. Just forget about the fact that you did what you did. But
So then my
then
question, so then my question to that, Cortland, is now are we going to everything is a mistake, and so because everything is a mistake and you're not a quote unquote inherently bad person, we're going to disregard that. I think that's where everybody's pushback is coming from. We're
No,
going to
no,
disregard all of these actions prior to and say, oh no, she was a mental health advocate champion, da 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 da, and completely forget about the
no.
rest
I
of
don't
that
think you
prior to
have
that.
to disregard her actions. What I'm
We
saying
don't
is in this
ignore
But
situation,
that's
what I'm
what you
saying
her
is
did. You
action.
said he didn't die.
Disregard
what I'm saying.
what?
No, because it no, and that's not. So if this is recorded, you can go back and listen to what I said before. Like my first statement, since we're gonna do this. My first statement was she did what she did, right? She came out, she can spin this in a positive. I didn't disregard her actions. So I've been consistent the entire way. So let's not do that.
There was a lot of excuses, Cortland, not gonna lie. A lot of
From who?
excuses.
From who?
That's why I said something. That's
From
why
who,
Janae said
Rashad? From
something.
who,
That's why
Rashad?
Red said something, because it seemed like the pushback
From me?
was, huh?
Jonah, it was excuses from me? Which auntie, it was
I ain't
excuses to
gonna lie
me.
to you. It sounded like it initially. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So what I think
Because
the
I've only spoken
disconnect,
on the subject.
I
I
think,
let y'all talk. I
I,
didn't speak on the topic but one time. So
so
No,
tell
we're
me where
talking
the
I
about
excuses
the
think,
came
POV.
from.
So
hold
where did
on
the did
for a
he
minute.
die come from? I mean, you did say it.
Well, he was
Because
asked a
Rashad wanted to
question.
bring up and all right, bro.
No,
So there was
maybe clarify because you just you
there was
said it.
a
I don't know.
hold on. There was a miscommunication. And I heard it, and I was waiting for Cortland to catch it. What happened was Rashad brought up a very specific point about the Karl Malone situation as an example of, hey, we have the ability to separate these two entities. We have the ability to separate these two ideals, and we see that in the Karl Malone situation. That was the pushback there. Is that possible to do the same thing in the Halle Bailey situation? And then they started the back and forth. I think you misread or misinterpreted him saying that as in they were equal, and that's not what
And
he
that's
was
why I
saying.
gave the disclaimer before I even said it. I said, for all the smart people in here, I'm not saying that they're the same things. I'm talking about the mindset of being able to separate the person from what they did. I gave that whole spiel before I even gave the example, and then we right back to Karl Malone
And
and
that's the reason why I
Holly
said
Bailey ain't the same shit.
that's the reason why I said for me, I can separate, in my opinion. It's easier to separate, I guess, if you want to separate them, even though I'm not separating her from it, right? If you want to separate or people want to disassociate her with her actions, I think it's a little bit easier because there's a origin point that you can say, okay, she went off the rails here, right?
No, there's not an
Uh,
origin point.
But
but
that's what
And
you
that's
were
what I
missing
all
keep
at
right,
trying
the
to.
y'all got
time.
it.
And that's but Cortland, that is the point that you're missing about what we were talking about is that we get. So, for example, this is why I think there's so much flaw in that logic is because there could be an origin point for anybody. We don't know Karl Malone's story, and we were very okay with saying he ain't shit, and we were okay with it because you want to know why he did it. And we didn't care. Well, why would he think to touch a young person? And then what if his origin story is he was touched when he was young, so that's been normalized? That's his origin story.
And
Now
I
what?
think even in
You get what I'm
Carmelo's
saying?
situation, his origin
Because then
was,
if we keep doing all of that, then there's never, like what I said, then there's never any accountability for an action because it's always, well, what's the origin? That's why I'm saying separating this from that. This meaning the pattern from the one instance of an actual postpartum experience, which is real. I think sometimes people can say, well, damn, how do we bypass the pattern and then only make accommodations for this one scenario when there could have been a larger conversation or some, hey girl, like that is not healthy for you to be functioning like that, rather than commend her for something that could actually be something she needs help with beyond postpartum. So then it's like, well, then no, she didn't really do anything and we know this. And it's like, but I think that's where the nuance, because of what DDG said, because of what he provided, because of the additional support in terms of his POV, you're not taking nobody's side. It's just, oh, okay, there is more nuance to this story. There is more to it. There is a clear issue with postpartum that we should be understanding and sensitive to, but it does look like she may be the person that also had some underlying issues beforehand that were never checked and showed up in her relationship very early on. And so it's like, so then because it's that and that never got, those initial mental health things never got checked, it's now okay to make her a mental health advocate when she has not
No,
admitted or
so
gotten the help she needed for the first issue.
okay, so I guess I'm not speaking. I was speaking in generality. I think y'all are going deeper than I'm going, right? I'm just speaking in like a general, like to what he was, to what the question is. I can't separate in this situation, right? I'm not separating Karl Malone from what he did, right? His greatness or whatever, or what he did in basketball and in the sports realm from the person he is, because he's still that guy, right? Like that to me, that's just what he is. And because I guess I'm a little bit more abreast of that situation, I've always thought he was a sick person.